Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on implementing the recommendations put forth in the REMS TA Center Resilience Strategies for Educators, Techniques for Self-Care and Peer Support Training. This tutorial will provide a brief summary of the information presented during the event, give information on how you may use the tools, resources, and continued support from the TA Center to implement the lessons learned from the training session, and describe the process of completing the post-work described by the trainers during your training session. As you likely recall, the training you attended was designed to help you achieve the following objectives: to increase awareness and understand the impact of stress, burnout, and compassion fatigue on the comprehensive education academic environment, to identify signs and symptoms of compassion fatigue, both professionally and personally, to create a professional self-care plan to support and improve effectiveness of current and future work with students impacted by stress, loss, and trauma, to outline action steps to implement psychological first aid, Listen, Protect, Connect, or PFA-LPC, and to facilitate the creation of a practical action plan to be implemented within 60 days of training. You are now in the post-training phase, when you can implement the things you learned during training, including your self-care plan. During the training, you work to create a self-care plan intended to help prevent compassion fatigue and burnout. You considered strategies that would work for you in the categories of physical, emotional, intellectual, social, financial, and spiritual commitments. As part of this plan, you also identified what kinds of support you need to make these activities and your wellness a priority. Now, you should be ready to implement this self-care plan. To do so, you should practice your individual self-care strategies on a regular basis. You may even have a colleague that you could work with to support one another in carrying out your respective self-care strategies. As you carry out your self-care strategies, it is important to continue monitoring your levels of compassion fatigue and compassion satisfaction. To do so, you may self-administer the ProQual at regular intervals. For example, it is recommended you self-administer it 3 months after you attended this training to reevaluate your levels of compassion fatigue and compassion satisfaction. You can access the ProQual anytime on the training materials page at http://rems.ed.gov/RSETTE materials.aspx. Each time you complete the ProQual, it may also be worthwhile to revisit your self-care plan and consider whether the strategies are working, whether your plan should be adjusted, or whether there are any other supports to implementation you might want to employ. During the training, you were also introduced to several concepts important to not just your own self-care plan, but also to your school or district's emergency operations plan. Among these were psychological and emotional recovery, including psychological first aid. The REMS TA Center has a number of resources you may find useful in learning more about these concepts and incorporating them into your school or district emergency operations plan. Information on recovery, including psychological and emotional, includes resources such as a web page on creating a recovery annex, including academic, physical, fiscal, psychological, and emotional recovery for your school EOP, with accompanying resources available at http://rems.ed.gov/K12 recovery annex.aspx. A web page on creating a public health, medical health, and mental health annex for your school EOP, with accompanying resources available at http://rems.ed.gov/K12 PHM and MHA annex.aspx. 2 resources on responding to bereavement and loss, including a specialized training package available at http://rems.ed.gov/training-package.aspx, and an online course on developing a bereavement and loss annex available at http://rems.ed.gov/trainings/courses home.aspx. Resources specific to psychological first aid include a web page on psychological first aid for schools, available at http://rems.ed.gov/K12pfas.aspx, where you will find details on PFA along with links to related resources. A webinar, Implementing Psychological First Aid in School and Post-Secondary Settings, available at http://rems.ed.gov/implementing psychological first aid.aspx, which offers a description of PFA, its role following an emergency, and its use in both the K through 12 and higher education settings. Additionally, strategies for developing the necessary supports prior to an emergency and for implementing PFA when needed is presented. A helpful hints publication, Psychological First Aid for Students and Teachers, Listen, Protect, Connect, Model and Teach, available at http://rems.ed.gov/docs/hh_vol3 issue3.pdf, which discusses the use of PFA in schools, specifically the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Listen, Protect, Connect, Model and Teach, or LPC, Crisis Response Strategy. This publication explores goals of the strategy, when and how PFA can be implemented by schools, when PFA should be implemented, including considerations to keep in mind when implementing, and the type of training school staff need to effectively use this strategy. In addition, the REMS TA Center offers numerous publications available at http://rems.ed.gov/remspublications.aspx on specific topics relevant to considerations for psychological and emotional recovery, such as REMS Express publications on topics including paying tribute to deceased school community members, coping with the death of a student or staff member, lessons learned publications on topics such as re-traumatization, how one college campus responded to emotional re-injury, responding to a suicide cluster, Palo Alto School District, bus crash at Lakeview Public Schools, coping with multiple suicides among middle school students. A coordinated response to multiple deaths in a school community helps the healing begin. As you initiate next steps in developing, revising, and maintaining your school EOP, you may also be interested in accessing our Toolbox, a virtual library of tools developed by school emergency managers in the field, containing resources pertinent to the needs of schools and their community partners as they engage in the process of school emergency management planning. And if you are interested in submitting a tool or template for inclusion in our Toolbox, please fill out our Toolbox submission form, available by accessing the link you see on your screen. Also, the REMS TA Center offers a community of practice, which is a collaborative of practitioners with a collective aim to enhance the ability of schools to implement comprehensive emergency management planning efforts through the sharing of ideas, experiences, lessons learned, and by engaging with one another on these important topics. We encourage you to join the community to continue working with practitioners across the country on these critical issues. Please visit the Community of Practice webpage you see on your screen. This concludes our tutorial for today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the REMS TA Center's Help Desk by email at info@remstacenter.org or by toll-free telephone at 1-855-781-REMS or 7367 during regular business hours. We wish you all the best for your future emergency management planning efforts.